Good morning, everybody. I wanted to introduce the two of us on this LinkedIn Live. And my name is Harsh Kapula. I'm the president and co-founder of TADA. And with me, a very esteemed colleague and a friend, Sid Guha. He's the vice president of product management and development. And we're going to be doing this LinkedIn Live for you. I'm going to talk for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then I'm going to turn it over to Sid to actually show you a demo of how our customers use this particular solution, which is the Tariff Manager, to help them deal with the challenges that they face today. But what we are all about, TADA has pioneered a system of action. Our customers have consistently told us that the mix of systems that they have is not actually allowing their people to act when they need to in time and in a smart way for the business. Through history, there have been systems of record which record transactions, and then came systems of operation, which were very narrow solutions that didn't connect with other solutions. Then people said, well, we need a little bit more intelligence. But what the world demands today, with all of its volatility and its uncertainty that are part of everyday life for people in supply chains, people need a system of action. And that is what TADA has pioneered. It is extremely powerful, and it has been able to deliver hundreds of millions of dollars of impact on cost and cash, while at the same time improving customer performance. In other words, customer fill rates, so that they can realize the revenue and profit for the business as well. And what has become very important for every organization is that they have the ability across their supply chain, not just with the people within their organization, but all their partners, to be able to respond to disruption in hours instead of weeks. That delay between sensing a disruption and acting, the cost of inaction over time rises exponentially. And that's the reason why we've been able to deploy these extremely quickly so that the customers get results. So what you're going to see today is a safe start supply chain. And the hallmark of this is that it delivers the solution to you, and we'll talk about the solutions that are available in just a minute, in a way that it allows for extraordinarily fast implementation. You can actually launch these applications in days, and it's with a very streamlined setup and pre-configured options. And you will see when Sid shows you the demo that this is actually what people get. And it's been very, very vital to the customers that we are working with, who run extremely complex global supply chains. But it's also a very low risk investment. It allows an organization or a team to test before they scale. And with a very minimal cost and commitment, you can actually get going, and gives you a set of capabilities that you're going to see here, but allows you to try key features and is focused on functionality so that you can see a fast ROI and immediate value. And finally, it allows it to be very easy to upgrade so that you can go to a full enterprise solution, and that when you deploy the next one, they are all connected in the back across a common fabric for your business that recognizes the challenges that your particular business faces in a unique way out there. Now, what we are going to be doing here is to actually do a set of LinkedIn Live shows. We did one last month on the inventory manager, because what happens in supply chains is that if you do not connect all the information, you end up either stranding a lot of inventory or being short as demand shifts. Today, we're going to focus on another big problem in the industry, which is tariffs. We all understand that at a speed that is unprecedented, companies and countries have been subject to tariffs, and their ability to respond to it in real time has been extraordinarily challenging. Not only that, because these things are changing, people need the ability to do some scenario planning and be able to mitigate against these situations that are imposed on them, on their supply chain. On January 14th, we're going to do a clean to build, which allows a factory to respond in real time when disruptions happen either upstream or downstream with shifts in demand. We're then going to be doing a LinkedIn Live on Spend Manager. We're going to then do the Order Board Manager and a Short Sheet Manager. Please tune in and tell your colleagues who are impacted by these across your organization to join, and we will be sending out notices on that. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sid.
So today I will share with you one of our solution called Tariff Manager. And there are like 3 key things which it solves as part of this solution, right? So as you all know, right, all the enterprises have very complex business network. And then the data is in multiple places, right? How do you simplify it? How do you bring it all together? That is one of the key problems we solve, and I will share that with you shortly. The second one is the tariff situation is, as you all know, it's very dynamic. It's kind of changing every day, the rules and the rates and all those are changing. How do you, in real time, kind of do a scenario and see the impacts? That's the second one. The third one, tariff not only impacts your cost, but also impacts your margin. So we bring it all together where you can see not only how much it impacts your cost of goods sold, but also your bottom line. So those are the 3 key things which I will share today. Let's start first with the complexity of your business and how we simplify it. So what you are seeing here is, as part of the solution, we build your network where we are connecting your products, your factories, your suppliers, and the parts which you buy from your suppliers into one structure, right? Which we call it as our digital twin. In order to do that, in order to pull the data, we have plugs built in where we can pull data from discrete Excel files, or we can connect with multiple different systems like Snowflake and Oracle and SAP and others, right? So once the data come in, what we have done is we have segmented it so that it is easy for the user to kind of follow through of how the structure is set up. So for example, I'm in the parts. Here you can see all the different parts which you are actually getting from your suppliers. And you can actually go into a part 360 where you can see all the different metrics for that part, which suppliers it comes from, usage, demand, its performance, all the information available in one place. So after parts, we get into suppliers is the next, where we organize all your supplier information, where they are located, where is the country of origin, and all that information in one place. Then we connect the supplier and part, all that information about which supplier is supplying what part, what portion of the supply is allocated to a certain supplier. All that information resides here, where you can provide the details all the way up to, say, for example, one supplier is only supplying 40% of the demand and another is doing 60%. All that complexity is managed here. Then the third piece is the factories. This is where the suppliers are shipping the product to. So these are where your factories is situated, which country or which region. All that details is available in the factories. And then the next one is the products. What are the products which are in part of your business? So that's the first piece of information. And then these products are made in which factories? So that is the other. So then as you can see, we are mapping all the way from the part supplier all the way to the consumption point of that particular part. And the last piece in this complex network is your bill of material, which is for your business, how you are making that product. And this helps us link all the way from the parts to the factory and to the product, right? So this completes your entire network. And as we all know, the data is in multiple systems. So you always run into an issue is, hey, I have gaps in data. There is errors in his data. So we have a built-in data validation. What it does is as we have pulled in all this information in real time using the network, it's actually doing the cross validation. And it provides you a very simple way to understand what are your major issues, what are your minor issues, where are all the errors in the data. For example, you may have a parts where the price is missing, or you will have HTS codes which are missing. All that information is very easy to view here, and also you can fix it as part of the solution. So that's the first part of the capability. The second one is, as I mentioned is earlier, the overall tariff situation is changing much, almost it changes by the day. So how do you now quickly you can see the impact, right? Most of the companies are using, series of spreadsheets and other things to figure it out. We make it very simple for the user. All you need to do is, I will run through one scenario where, say, for example, you want to do a scenario where any copper imported into US has a tariff of 35% increase in copper. So all you need to do is give it a name, a description, add this rate, and go to the HTS code. Because we have pulled in all your bill of material, all you need to do is look for where the coppers are, which bill of material has copper in it, and then just select those, change the scenario selector to 35%, and then just add this rate, right? And create this scenario. So then from here, all you need to do is select the copper scenario. And what you are seeing here on the right side is, on the first panel is showing you the baseline. This is how your business was before the tariff. So you can see your revenue, you can see your cost of goods sold, you can see your profit here. On the right, with this copper scenario, where you are increasing 35% tariff rate on all copper products, it's actually calculating how your cost of goods sold is actually increasing, and your tariff impact is $3 million, right? Just by increasing that. So what it is doing is actually going through the bill of material, through the HTS codes, and looking for where copper is used and adding this incremental tariff, right? So you can now see how your purchase material cost increased and how your profit is actually decreasing. Right, so that's the second capability. In real time, you can run scenarios. You can run it by countries, by HTS code. You can run it by a combination of those, and you can create multiple different scenarios and save it, right? The third capability I talked about is actually getting into the product level, right? Where now if I go to one product, you can see for this particular product, how much of it is actually getting impacted by tariff, right? Which part are getting impacted and which are not. And then from here, you can get into the details where you can look into the overall impact between the baseline and the scenario, and then look into getting into each part level detail where that impact is. So all that analytics is built into the product. And then you can actually similarly see which are impacted, which are not, right? So that is the third capability, and as part of the solution. Also, as I'm going through it, I also wanted to kind of run a couple of, since I've shown the capabilities, couple of maybe for the audience, couple of polls, just to get some feedback on where their challenges and what are the challenges they are facing today. Just to summarize the three capabilities which I showed as part of the demo, the first one is how TADA is able to take your complex network of your business and data and bring it all together and simplify it for the user to actually arrange it in a way which is meaningful and useful for the business. The second one I talked about is the dynamic change in the tariff and how the user can actually go and quickly create these scenarios based on the current news and see what is the impact to their business. And the third one is about what is the impact to the product. So how is your profit margin going to get impacted because of this change in tariff? Right. So those are the three.
So this is, in fact, a good segue to the Q&A section of this. First of all, Sid, thank you very much for a great demo of a very important solution and for the times we live in, that supply chains are dealing with. The first question that has come in, Sid, is exactly that. How is the data secured? How do I merge with external public and private data sets to maintain enterprise security?
Okay, so as I was talking earlier, right? So we have these connectors which is pulling the information from your various systems, right? Including it can be discrete Excel file, and they are stored all in our supply chain fabric. It's all secure. It's secured all the way to a user level where you can manage what each individual can see. And then the external information like tariff rates, they are separately pulled in from and managed, and then we bring it together within as part of the solution. So we make sure that no enterprise data is shared with any external parties. It's built into our overall network security architecture.
And the security architecture is something we call TADA Shield that is very protective of your information. So
Yes, and it is trusted by very large global Fortune 500 companies where they are using it every day, and they feel confident and about our ability to make sure that the information is secure.
great. Thanks, Sid. The next question is, does this solution allow me to test multiple scenarios? I think you sort of addressed it.
Yes.
If you got anything to add to that, that would be helpful.
Yes, you can create multiple different scenarios. You can create multiple different baselines and different scenarios, and then compare them with each other. Yes.
The next question that has come in is, does your solution handle both HTS codes and country of origin impacts?
Correct. Yes. We have built in where you can do a combination of country of origin and HTS. And so, for example, you want to know any imports coming from China for a certain HTS codes, what is the impact? So you can get down to that level too.
Okay. And the other question that's come in from the audience is, can you run scenarios where you can change one supplier or all suppliers from a particular country?
So that is actually part of another solution, which is our total cost of supply. That's where maybe we can have another session where we can share that solution. That's where you can do some of those changing of your source mix and see how can you mitigate some of these impact.
The other question, maybe it might be helpful for us to address, Sid, is how modular are these? How do they connect together when I have one and then I put on the second and then the third so that it works across my supply chain?
Yeah, so all our TADA solutions are built on the what we call is the industry fabric or supply chain fabric, which is like a digital twin solution. And what it does is it's once you have used and the data from one source, it can be used for other applications too. And they are all connected. So a tariff, or if you go into an inventory solution or a spend solution, they are using the same framework in the back.
So there's another question around the idea we talked about fast implementation and fast ROI. Can you give people a sense for how quickly these can be implemented?
So these solutions are, as you can see, it's all built out and very targeted. So they are implemented in matter of days and weeks. The company, you can start using it literally as soon as you log in, upload your file, and start using the application and see the benefits right away. right? And we are seeing that while running the scenarios, companies are finding out things like where uh, how much impact will it be, and how can they change some of the demand on some products to another one to mitigate. So it is helping them significantly reduce the impact to their spend, to their bottom line, and that's how it's adding value.
Right. And the information that they put in is something that groups within organizations readily have available to them. It's, their parts, their bills of material, and those kinds of things. And also, whether it is procurement or finance or a multifunctional group that's dealing with tariffs, this is something that can be done very quickly for them. Thank you very much to the people who have joined. We are also going to be placing this video on multiple locations, including LinkedIn, obviously. And if you can share it with your colleagues who might find it useful, we would appreciate that. And if you want to try, the contact information was there. Thank you very much to the audience. Sid, thank you very much for giving the demo, and thanks to our team for putting this on. We will see you at the next LinkedIn Live. And if you'd like to try, please get in touch with us.